I'm Mark Stoddard. I'm the Performing Arts Director at Dream City. Well, this has been a strange few weeks, hasn't it? We're normally leading arts classes and running rehearsals and preparing our various teams for performances, but life has thrown us all a curveball. And like many of you, I'm getting a little bit of cabin fever. I miss interacting and collaborating with our people. We are still hoping to be able to perform our summer musical, The Music Man, in July, fingers crossed. But in the meantime, our team started a social media challenge to display quarantine creativity, or as we call it, quarantivity. So last week I did a little hand wash challenge to a song from The Music Man entitled Trouble in River City. Check it out. Well, we got trouble. Right here, I say trouble right here in River City. Well, sure, I'm a billiard player. Certainly mighty proud to say I'm always mighty proud to say it. I consider the years I spent with a cue in my hand to be golden. Helps you cultivate horse sense, and a cool head, and a keen eye. Did you ever take and try to give an ironclad lead to yourself from a three-rail billiard shot? But just as I say, it takes judgment, brains, and maturity to score in any ball-blind game. I say that any boob can hit and take a ball in a pocket. And I call that sloth the first big step on the road to the depths of degradation. First, it's medicinal wine from a teaspoon, then beer from a bottle. And the next thing you know, your son is playing for money in a pinchback suit. Listening to some big out-of-town Jasper, hearing him talk about horse race gambling. Not a wholesome trotting race, no, but a race where they sit down right on the horse. Like to see some stuck-up jockey boy sitting on Dan Patch. Make your blood boil, I should say. Now, friends, let me tell you what I mean. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pockets in the table. Pockets that mark the difference between a gentleman and a bum. With a capital B that rhymes with P that stands for pool. Wash your hands. And speaking of washing hands, here's a fun meme. Love like Jesus, but wash your hands like Pontius Pilate. Well, it's Passion Week. It's a time when we remember so many of the significant things that happened in the last week of Jesus' life, not only to him, but also to his followers as well. Several years ago, I wrote a short drama about the perspectives of two disciples, Peter and Judas. As a storyteller, I've always been fascinated by their parallel experiences of following Jesus and how they drew different conclusions. You know, we tend to paint these two characters as hero and villain, but they were two ordinary people who had hopes and fears and doubts, just like all of us. In writing this piece, I used a couple devices to try to give subtext to their perspective. A rope is used, physically and metaphorically, to kind of chart a sort of spiritual continuum between them. You know, we all have different viewpoints about Jesus' life and his miracles and his claims, and on that continuum, some of us are followers, some of us are seekers, some of us are skeptics. Another device was writing overlapping lines for the characters, playing into the fact that they both experienced the same events. So as you watch this scene, consider your own views of who you think Jesus was and is, and ask yourself how you might react in similar circumstances. Ever since I met him, there was this tug of war going on in my soul. I mean, all I ever wanted to do was to fight the Roman oppression, but we needed a leader. When I started following him and I saw how the crowds responded, I thought, maybe he's the one.
That's what I thought when I first started following him. My whole life, I just wanted to feel like I fit in. Well, Jesus even gave me a nickname, The Rock. Being with him made me feel so alive. It's like with his love, he threw me a lifeline.
He was always using these seafaring analogies. I'll make you fishers of men, things like that. Listen, all I wanted to know was when we were going to fight
the Romans weren't the problem. It was the Pharisees. They were just so jealous of him, and everybody wanted to make it out to be this big political thing, but it wasn't. John and I understood that it was about the people. He simply loved people.
People kept telling me that if he wasn't going to start the revolution, then I should. So that's when I went to
the chief priests couldn't accept that he was the Messiah. But I was there. I saw the healings, the miracles, the transfiguration. These are real, not stories.
He always loved telling these stories he called parables. But whenever he would mention a wicked servant or a prodigal son or a cursed fig tree, I always felt like he was talking about me.
Sometimes when Jesus would look into my eyes, I felt like there was no one else around but me. He gave me courage to do things the other 11 wouldn't dare. Like one night, he walked out onto the water and called for me to get out of the boat and come to him. So I tried.
I tried to have faith like Peter. I really did. But when it came to actually doing something risky, I don't know, I just got scared. I mean, how is it that when we all saw a ghost, he saw Jesus?
One time he washed my feet. Now, I didn't want him to, but he insisted. And when he hugged me, I could feel the beating of his heart.
Heartache led to frustration. I felt like an outsider. Yeah, he let me handle the money, but I don't think he ever really trusted me. And when he didn't fulfill my expectations, I just grew impatient. Pride, greed, and fear
consumed me last night when I denied him. And not just once, but 3 times. When the women were with him at the cross, I was hiding like a coward. And now he's gone. So today I don't know what's going to happen
now. Pardon the pun, but I'm about at the end of my rope.
Rope burn comes when you start to lose your grip. Today, God seems silent. So I tie a knot to hold on to the last thing I heard him say
was that he was going to rise from the dead. Well, I don't think I can live with the fact that I caused his execution. 30 pieces of silver and a kiss.
So for every promise, I tie a knot.
For all my regret, I tied a noose.
Well, we are facing a very uncertain world right now, and in light of Passion Week, my question for you is, what is your perspective? How are you viewing this uncertainty? Which choice will you give power to, your faith or your fear? I believe it's when we wrestle with these questions and doubts that we really discover more about who we are and who God is. Have a blessed Easter, and remember, He is risen indeed.